Yeah. They told you what to think, not how to think. Time to wake up. Deprogrammed. Yeah. Static in my head, yeah, they feed it through the screen. Every headline scripted, every angle too clean. They sell fear, sell lies, dress it up as truth. But I see through the smoke, yeah, I'm back to the root. They don't want faith, they want blind compliance. Cancel conviction, silence defiance. But I got fire, ain't hiding that light. Truth in my chest, yeah, I came to fight. They twist what's real, redefine right. Call wrong, progress keep dimming the light. But I read between lines, I don't follow the wave. I was lost, now I'm found, yeah, I broke from the cave. I won't bow, I won't bend. Truth don't change with the trend. Through the noise, through the lies, I can finally see with open eyes. Break the signal, cut the lies. Hear the truth, it never dies. Turn it up, let it roar. We ain't playing this game no more. Deprogrammed, yeah we rise. Faith and fire in our eyes. Stand tall, unashamed we were lost, but now we're deprogrammed. Try to rewrite the code, turn belief into a joke, make conviction feel old. But I stand on the word, yeah, solid, unshaken. Every lie they built up, yeah, it's all gonna break it. I see culture shift quick like sand in a tide. But truth don't drift, it don't run, it don't hide. They can mock, they can shout, try to bury the name. But the light breaks through, yeah, bursts to the shame. This ain't rage, this is purpose and aim. We bring heat, but we ain't get the flame. Not programmed, not bought, not sold. We speak life, we don't fold. Yeah, it's more than a podcast. It's a wake-up call. Faith over fear. Truth over all. You don't gotta stay asleep. You don't gotta play along. Break the chains. Find your voice. This where you belong.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Deprogrammed with Revolver Broadcasting on EA Truth Radio. I'm Joshua Cummins. This is episode 2. I know you're going, what, episode 2? This is the 3rd episode. Well, in podcasting, you start with episode 0. So it's always one number behind. That's how it works. But remember that this show is brought to you by EternalAffairsMedia.com. That website again is eternalaffairsmedia.com. So make sure that you guys are checking that out. Of course, make sure to check out my company and its website, revolverbroadcasting.com. The website again is revolverbroadcasting.com. All kinds of great content over there as well. Lots of shows, just like over here at Eternal Affairs. We're going to be getting into the news very shortly. But just before we do, I've experienced a lot of things here lately showing how people are growing in the faith of Christianity. It's touching lives. It's changing lives. I watched a video clip earlier of a young lady who was a witch from the age of 14. She was at least very interested in witchcraft from the age of 14, and she was actively participating. And I don't know, it really struck me because here was this young mother who had zero interest in Christianity. As a matter of fact, didn't care about it, wasn't even thinking about it, wasn't even looking at it. And then she has this experience where a pillar of light or a light being comes into her room, doesn't say anything, and um, after a while, she decides that she's irritated at this light that's in her room. Which, okay, I don't know why you'd be irritated at a light being. Sounds like it would be a good thing. Mostly, I don't know. Could be, you know, an invitation or whatever. But then she says, "Who are you?" And she says that it responded, but she didn't hear it externally. She heard it in here, like in her chest, in her body. It said, "I am." And she says, "I don't understand." And it says it again, "I am that I am." Oof. Tell me that that's not deep. So sometime later, she's cleaning her house, and just a few days later, I guess, and she puts on that Prince of Egypt cartoon animated show where they depict Moses and his time in Egypt, and then let my people go, all that stuff. But there's a point in the film where she loved the cartoon as a kid, but never really thought about the cartoon as anything more than a story until as she's going to clean out her vacuum. This just happens to be at the time that she's cleaning out her vacuum. She's kind of in her head about the whole thing with the light being, and still in the forefront of her mind. And as she's dumping out all the stuff from her vacuum, she hears the burning bush in the cartoon. And she's not thinking about it. And at that time, Moses says, "Who are you?" to the burning bush. Now, if you know the story, you know that the burning bush answers and says, "I am." Whew. Hits her again. So she says, "Okay, I gotta go and find out what this is about." And so she goes to the search engine and she looks and she says, "Who was quoted as saying I am?" Well, of course, there's God. She says, "Who said I am that I am?" Well, those words are in red. That's Jesus Christ. She gave her life to the Lord immediately. She understood quite a bit in that moment. So she went and started reading her Bible, changed her entire life, everything. How she did everything, how she engaged with people. She couldn't believe how much everything had just almost overnight. Beautiful. Just wanted to share that with you guys, and it was just one of those things, you know? It's just one of those things that didn't want to go without talking about it, you know? All right. So just a reminder that you guys should be liking this content if you haven't already hit the like button. Make sure you're commenting, whether in the live chat or when you're watching on recording. Make sure you leave comments. Comments change things. They move the algorithm. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, if you're on Rumble, we just love having comments all together. We love the feedback. I want to improve for you guys. So if there's suggestions that you have that I can improve, I would love to hear about how I can improve for you. I want to get better. I don't want to be stuck in a rut and not being doing everything that I need to be doing. I take constructive criticism well. I'd prefer to know if there's something I could be doing better. Make sure you guys are subscribed or following, depending upon the platform that you're viewing or listening on, obviously. And make sure that you're sharing this content because sharing is, in fact, caring.
Oh, yeah!
I love that. What are we going to be talking about this afternoon? Well, we're going to be talking about quite a few things going on. Um, the lawmakers have seemed to notice that there's a lot of scientists disappearing here lately. That's gonna that's gonna be our top story for sure. They just keep going missing. Hmm. We're going to talk about how the Trump administration withheld 91 million in Medicaid from fraud-ridden Minnesota. We're going to talk about Social Security being purged off the rolls for 300,000 illegal aliens. Bye bye. That money goes back into the budget so that we can distribute it back to real Americans who need it. Who knows? Maybe they'll be able to get soda again. I hear a lot of people complain about that. I thought if they're footing the bill. Anyway, we're going to be also going to be talking about Dr. Oz naming 5 states in a fraud crackdown as Trump administration targets the Medicaid abuse. So we're going to, lean into that a little bit more. Dr. Oz has really, really been doing his job. We'll even watch a video. We'll watch the video clip of him when we get to that as well. We got these redistricting wars are going on, and well, we're going to see where some of these states land after this historic Supreme Court ruling. And also, Trump is signed a new executive order to revive portions of the Keystone XL pipeline project, unleashing more American energy. Fantastic. Let's get over to the news desk so we can see exactly what's going on with each of these. Oh, there we go. Working on graphics, you're doing the production and and being on stage at the same time. There's some challenges for sure. From just the news, as our first article here, it says not normal. Lawmakers sees striking similarities in scientist disappearances and wants answers. The lawmaker leading a probe into strange disappearances of the nation's top scientists says the particular cases share striking similarities that indicate the incidents are not normal. He tells Just the News. Representative Eric Burleson, who chairs a subcommittee of the House Oversight Committee, wants Congress and the executive branch to get to the bottom of this of a slew of disappearances and deaths of scientists and government employees connected to sensitive research. These scientists and employees, at least 5 so far, were all connected to some of the facilities that carry out some of the government's most sensitive research. 4 of them disappeared in New Mexico near the government's Los Alamos National Laboratory, and their disappearances bear striking similarities that merit a serious inquiry, Burleson told Just the News. Each one all left their belongings behind. That's curious. Left their phones, their keys, their cars, their wallets, which is just not normal, Burleson told the John Solomon Reports podcast. There's a lot of these. While in and of themselves are very mysterious and sometimes just tragic, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a connection, Burleson clarified. But he said the similarities mean that the cases warrant a close look. He said, to me, what's really disturbing of the people that have stepped out of their homes and disappeared, those are the ones that I'm keyed into. And I hope the FBI and I know the FBI is actually focused on. Since last month, President Donald Trump said that the administration was looking into the deaths of at least 10 individuals associated with the most sensitive or cutting edge scientific programs in the United States. He said, I hope it's random, Trump told the reporters outside the White House. He said, we're going to know in the next week and a half. I just left a meeting on that subject. Yet, and some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it. So far, there is public evidence that the deaths and disappearances of 11 scientists, it says 10 in the article, but there's actually 11 per Fox News, linked to secret nuclear and aerospace research since 2023 being connected. However, speculation, including from lawmakers, has grown after several disappearances in recent months. Burleson is specifically interested in probing the disappearances of 5 scientists whose circumstances bear eerie similarities, as he should be. You know, we got our top scientists disappearing and leaving behind everything. You know what that suggests to me? Common sense would tell you that well, they need Liam Neeson. He's likely too late, but they're probably not alive. They're definitely not alive. If they if they are alive, they're being held captive somewhere. But I think that they were picked up by unelected, maybe even dark ops. I'm just saying this looks really fishy. Looks really fishy. Hmm. What could it be? What could be happening there that's causing these scientists to just up and be gone? They're working on all this sensitive information, and then it's like mafia mob rules. Oh, you know too much. Bang. Shallow grave for you. I know that it hurts me to say that, but it's a sad reality of a lot of stuff. A lot of way a lot of the world works. It shouldn't be happening here in the United States. I hope and pray that we find out more about what's going on with these scientists. Hopefully, there's some kind of reason where they were all just being hidden away for a time for security purposes or whatever, and then we'll find out that they're all actually okay. But I'm leaning towards not. We have 5 of them that are no 6 of them that are for sure dead. So it's not looking too good. It's not looking too good. Sorry to be a little bit of a bummer this started to start the show, but this is just saddening. All because they worked on something secure. It sounds nefarious to me. We need to be asking questions about this. Write your congressperson. Tell them you're concerned. Hey, scientists are disappearing. Why? Why are they disappearing? Why are they ending up dead? What are they working on? Are they reverse engineering some kind of, you know, demonic technology? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, aerospace, nuclear technology, where did that come from? It didn't just pop into somebody's head one day. That came from somewhere. I'm just saying. Next up, we've got from the National Pulse. Trump administration withholds another 91 million in Medicaid from fraud-ridden Minnesota. Some of you might wondering what's going on. What happened? Well, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, under the leadership of Dr. Mehmet Oz, has delayed 91 million in Medicaid payments to Minnesota due to fraud concerns. This includes 76 million tied to highly vulnerable service categories and 14 million potentially linked to illegal immigrant coverage. One important detail is that the federal officials said that the action follows investigations and searches tied to suspected misuse of funds in programs such as child care, the Leering Center, as Nick Shirley had pointed out, and so much more. Thank God for Nick Shirley. and related services, with a significant portion of the withheld money linked to high-risk spending categories and payments to ineligible recipients. The latest action adds to roughly 243 million already withheld earlier in the year, escalating tensions between federal authorities and Minnesota's state government. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz criticized the decision as politically motivated. It is estimated that fraud in Minnesota, much of it linked to the Somali community, has cost American taxpayers billions of dollars in recent years. Billions of dollars. That's your money. But we're just supposed to just keep giving them money and say, oh, that's politically motivated. Come on, Tim. Billions of dollars just poof. It's politically motivated. No, it's not politically motivated. You're politically motivated to keep lying in your pockets. A key quote from Dr. Oz is this is about protecting patients and respecting taxpayers. Thank you, sir, for standing up for us. The funding freeze, this is the impact here. It says the funding freeze adds pressure on Minnesota to address systematic vulnerabilities in its Medicaid program. The state officials now required to provide additional documentation to justify payment requests. The move could also influence broader anti-fraud efforts nationwide, as CMS and other federal agencies continue to scrutinize public program expenditures. So this is not just happening in blue states. It's happening in the red ones too. You better believe it. You better believe it. It's not politically motivated if it's happening everywhere. We need these guidelines. We need these anti-fraud efforts. Every state needs these. In this flashback, Minnesota's fraud scandals gained renewed national attention in late 2025, prompting President Trump to appoint Vice President J.D. Vance to lead the federal anti-fraud task force. The Justice Department also established a national fraud enforcement division. So they're working hard at breaking this down. Now I have a couple different videos of Dr. Oz this episode, so I want to share both of them with you. I'm going to pull up this one really quickly. Oh my goodness. All right. I don't know if it'll let me actually share that tab. I may have to copy and paste here. Give me just a moment. Lots of, yeah. Clickaroos here. There we go. There's that. Paste that. Go there. And this video up. I'm going to show you just a minute. Just a minute. Hang on with me. Bear with me. Here's Dr. Oz.
Let me walk you through what's happening in Minnesota, because at its core, this is about protecting patients and respecting taxpayers. We've notified Governor Walz and state leaders that CMS is deferring an additional $91 million in federal Medicaid funding. That's not a step we take lightly, but it's a necessary one. Here's the issue. Minnesota's state-run programs have raised serious red flags, from the so-called Leering Center scandal to a recent Department of Justice raid tied to childcare building concerns. And don't forget how fraud tourists from other states took advantage of Minnesota's weak enforcement to allegedly use AI to fabricate records and steal another $3.5 million. These aren't isolated problems. They suggest deeper vulnerabilities in how funds may be managed. At CMS, our responsibility is clear. The federal government covers more than half of Medicaid costs, which means we have both the authority and the duty to make sure these dollars are used properly. When something doesn't look right, we investigate. It's our job. Earlier this year, our audit of fourth quarter fiscal year 2025 billing led us to defer over $250 million. These findings were concerning enough that we expanded our review. And that's what led to this latest $91 million deferral. Now, based on what we've seen so far, roughly $14 million may have gone towards illegal immigrants who weren't supposed to be getting this coverage. That's exactly the kind of issue we're working to correct. Now, this isn't about punishment. It's about partnership and accountability. We're offering Minnesota the support they need to fix these problems. But at the same time, we cannot and will not pay claims that don't meet federal standards. So we're asking for additional documentation to verify these charges. Until these concerns are fully addressed, CMS will continue to use every tool available to safeguard Medicaid. This program exists to safeguard, to protect our most vulnerable citizens. And we have an obligation to protect it, both for them and for every taxpayer who helps fund this beautiful program.
Thank you, Dr. Oz, for pointing things out and also showing how it's about our most vulnerable in this country. It's not about, obviously want to root out fraud, waste. Obviously want to get rid of this fraud and waste. We want to make sure that people are accountable, like you said, because we want to protect. It's not a political motivation. You want to protect. And again, I think the idea of it being in all states definitely needs to happen. You think it's not happening in your own backyard? I know what's happening here in Indiana. I know what's happening here in Indiana. Not less than 2 miles away from me, there is one of those learning centers. The only car ever parked outside is a Mercedes-Benz. And all the windows are covered up with these big, colorful stickers. There's never anybody there except the one car. Nick Shirley, if you want to come to Indiana and investigate, there's a couple things I'd like to I'd like to show you here in Indiana. One of them being they're in Lebanon, Indiana, where they're doing a thing called the LEAP project. You can look up the LEAP project. I just want to encourage you, if you get when you get the chance, write it down, look up the LEAP project and what it's doing here in my home state of Indiana and Lebanon. It's horrific. Oh, these data centers are a good thing. They bring jobs. And a lot of foreign money. And I don't like foreign money in my country. I don't. Because foreign money comes with foreign agendas. Doesn't it? All right. Let's keep talking about these things because here in our next article from Breitbart, 300,000 illegal aliens purged from Social Security rolls, per Donald Trump. While speaking at the villages in Florida, Trump highlighted policies geared towards seniors, such as no tax on Social Security. Trump also spoke about the One Big Beautiful Bill and how it was the largest tax cut in American history, adding that, as a result, more than 51 million American seniors now pay a federal tax rate of 0. Thank goodness. He's helping out our most vulnerable, right? We talked about our most vulnerable. Together with the Republicans in Congress, we've removed nearly 300. Let me just let Trump say it to you. I'm gonna pull this link up here and we'll watch it together. Because this, I really want you to hear what Trump had to say directly from Trump, right? So let me just, once again, I gotta move some tabs around because I need a fourth screen. I've got 3, and that's not enough. I need a fourth screen. So let me get this maximized here, and that way I can share it with you guys. Let's hear what the president had to say on this topic.
But together with the Republicans in Congress, we've removed nearly 300,000 illegal aliens from the Social Security roll. And we've removed more than 100,000 migrants from Medicare eligibility, 100,000, and the number's going up. What we're really doing is saving Social Security because It was so rife with fraud, and the Democrats didn't care. They couldn't care less. All they care about is Trump derangement syndrome. They are sick. They are lunatics. We're dealing with lunatics. You can do, but I've learned, with time, I've learned if I want something, I go the opposite. In other words, if I want the wall, I say, I will not under any circumstance, but together.
Well, you know what he finished that with. I will not under any circumstances build a wall, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we need a wall." He's got to go the opposite to get things done. But yes, 300,000 illegal aliens removed from the Social Security rolls. All that money that we'd been just wasting, throwing it away, giving it to people that didn't deserve it. They're not a citizen. They have no rights to it. They didn't pay into the system. They didn't work for it. It gone. Bye-bye. No more eggs for you. Right? No more eggs for you. You're going to have to work for it. At home. Well, I don't get my check no more. That's because you're illegal. You broke the law. I don't have that on my soundboard. I need to get that in my soundboard. Jim Carrey from Liar, Liar, Liar. Stop breaking the law. Well, I was brought here as a child. That's a tough one. Yeah, but it's still against the law. Still against the law. The law is the law. Oh, they want to compare it to something where, breaking the law is like, a drunk driver, and pull them over. They're going to separate them from their children. They're going to separate them from their children because they broke the law. Just ask Mr. Homan. Just ask Mr. Tom Homan how that works out. It's not inhumane. You broke the law. Your kids can go with you and be all deported together. That's fantastic. We'll send you home all together. But you're not staying here. You have to go home. That ain't here. That ain't here. There's a right way to do it. Every time I hear about this stuff, I go through and because I recall so many good friends of mine that came here, they did it the right way. They worked really hard. Some of them took 10, 15, 16 years to get their citizenship. And they were so proud to get that certificate that said naturalized citizen. Because now they were a U.S. citizen because they worked hard for it. All negated by these folks. If they're allowed to remain, if they're allowed to just break the law, and we cannot be okay with that. We just can't. It's gone too far. And I'm glad that President Trump is standing up once again for some folks that are just there is some really vulnerable folks that have immigrated to this country. But the people that worked hard for it, man, they deserve to be able to celebrate that. They deserve to be able to celebrate the fact that they're American. That they did it the right way. One of my really, really good friends, I won't say his name here, but because I don't know if he wants me to talk about our personal lives because he's kind of a private guy. But I love him. I love his family. They're all so fantastic. Went to all his kids' soccer games and their graduation parties and all that stuff. Him and his wife, they both immigrated here the right way. And boy, did we throw a party when he got that citizenship. Oh, man. It's oof. Yeah. We need to remove all the illegal, anybody that's illegal off of Social Security rolls. There's they're saying that there could be um, another 100,000 here soon. Number keeps going up, so it could be even more of them coming off of Medicare eligibility and other things. So let's hope. Let's hope. And not just for our pocketbook's sake, right? Not just for our pocketbook's sake, but because we want to see things change. Don't we? Got a lot of tabs open here. Making sure that everything is square before I go into this next topic here. Well, I mean, it's along the same lines. We're still talking about Dr. Oz, guys. This one here, this article here is from Fox News. Dr. Oz names 5 states in the fraud crackdown as Trump administration targets Medicaid abuse. As we were talking about them coming off the Social Security rolls. Let's talk about the Medicaid portion of that. I have another good friend of mine. We grew up together. We've known each other since we were kids, small kids, and he needs coverage. He's in need. He's got a lot of things that it's not that he can't work, but it's extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult. And so he needs these things. He needs his coverage, especially for all the things he's got going on in his life. But these illegal aliens have taken advantage of our system. But once again, let me get the video clip pulled up for you guys. I know we're doing quite a bit of video today, but I believe that these things are important to cover. When they come down, of course, as I wait for there's always ads and stuff like that. So I'll wait for the ads to play. But once again, like Dr. Oz said in the other video, we're talking about our most vulnerable, some of our most vulnerable. And not just the people with disabilities, but our elderly. You know, during COVID, they wanted to talk a lot about worrying about grandma, worry about grandma, worry about grandma. But now that this administration's worried about grandma, how dare you? Right? How dare you worry about grandma? I really don't like this video player, but I guess I got to deal with it. See what I mean? It's like
because we did the math, and it's a simple equation. We suspended these hospices, and it didn't take as long as, just a few weeks, because we did the math, and it's a simple equation. You've got almost 6,000 hospices in America. 1/3 of them are in Los Angeles, not in California, in Los Angeles. I mean, how many people are dying in Los Angeles? These programs are designed for people at the end of their life when you predict they'll be passing within 6 months. Yet we were seeing that many of these had very, very high survival rates. Sometimes everybody survived for the 6 months that normally is the program's length. We also began to notice that there were some folks who were probably not honorable doctors who were designated to supervise patients in multiple hospices. A lot of hospitals had foreigners that owned them, or they were able to cheat by keeping the numbers of their membership low enough that they don't have to actually report their outcomes. All these are red flags to us. And actually, we figured out pretty quickly that just looking at the basic realities of who's likely to be offering fraudulent services, we could begin to send out suspension letters. And we've been remarkably effective at finding where the red flag providers are, sending them letters, holding them accountable. The question we should be asking ourselves is, why didn't this already happen? There's been evidence in California. In fact, the auditor of California wrote a note to Gavin Newsom in 2022 saying, you got a big problem here with hospice. These folks aren't all legitimate. There's patterns here that are clearly outside the norm based on any common sense, but more importantly, based on comparisons to other states, because they have people that are dying in other states as well. And something's gone wrong. In fact, the difference between Northern California and Southern California, what was alarming to people, yet nothing was done. And I emphasize this because it was really a matter of having a will to just look where the obvious clues were. The fact that we can suspend more than 400 hospices from getting paid in just a few weeks highlights the reality that no one was watching the till for the last several years.
Wow. No one was watching the till for the past several years. Isn't that sad? Over 400 closed. That's topples the 250 million that Minnesota had going on, that they found within its first peek into its investigations there, because it went into the undetermined billions of dollars after a while. I think with California, once they're done with California, I think it's going to go well beyond the billions of dollars, because California just has so much money flowing through it. And it's a great way for these politicians and other folks to launder money. And they've been doing it for a very long time. You're going to find a lot of people who were formerly rich suddenly become penniless as these things come to light. I think you're going to see a lot of arrests too. I think you're going to start seeing, people are, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? I think very, very soon you're going to start seeing not full on perp walks, but I think you're going to see a lot of court cases, trials, and subsequent sentencings. And then you'll see perp walks. Happy 250. Happy 250 America. We're cleaning up the country. Let's talk about redistricting, shall we? Because the Supreme Court did a ruling that we like. The redistricting wars at a glance, where the states stand after historic Supreme Court ruling. This is from Just the News. A handful of states making moves this week to reconsider their congressional maps after Supreme Court struck down maps in Louisiana, ruling that the maps were an unconstitutional racial gerrymander. The Supreme Court ruling narrowed the scope of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act on Wednesday to bar race-based districts, prompting Louisiana to reschedule its upcoming House primaries while the lines are redrawn. Because they have to redo it again because they based it on race. It's like, you can't base it on race. You can't base it on race. That's discrimination at its core, right? Alabama has ordered a special session of the state legislature next week to pave the way for redistricting. Florida, the state legislature approved new districts that could help the GOP win up to 4 new House seats in November. Louisiana now postponed that's state's House primaries while the state works on a new congressional map that's not racially motivated. They always talk about the right being racist or whatever, and which we know is a lie. But it's always the left. It gets pointed out that they're so racist. They are so racist. And if they get this, with this win, and if we get the SAVE Act passed on top of this, you'll never see a Democrat win a large federal office again. I just don't see it. Maybe some of the seats or whatever, but I can almost guarantee you, president is always from that day forward always going to, because then you have maps that really represent the people that live there. In South Carolina, they stopped short of ordering a review Friday, but suggested the state might want to review its districts to ensure it is in line with the Supreme Court ruling. In Tennessee, they called for a special session of the state legislature to review their congressional maps. In Georgia, it said that it's too late for their election cycle to redistrict for the state for 2026, but the decision requires the state to adopt new maps by 2028. So they'll have to change it soon enough. Now in Mississippi, they're calling for special session that takes place in 21 days, and they're going to be redrawing their maps pretty soon, pretty quickly, with that. I'm trying to see if there was any more here. It says Virginia and California have also attempted to redraw their congressional maps, which would favor Democrats, but Virginia's plan is in limbo because it is stuck in a legal battle with its own state Supreme Court. And they have a couple legal battles going on with that state because, yeah, we'll have to get into that another day. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court has declined to hear challenges to California's new map, as they should. California just keeps on sucking, isn't it? But it's good to see the good guys win. It's good to see the good guys win, right? It's like Trump said, we're just going to keep winning. You're going to do so much winning. You're not. So when I found this meme here, which is extra hilarious to me because old Seinfeld is a dim. But it says, what's going on in there, Kramer? He said, we're redrawing the maps, Jerry. And this is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to be. It's going to be very red. It's going to be very red. It's going to be so much red. Let's get into the last story of this session. It's an executive order. Trump getting things done because either the dutiful Democrats are doing their thing, or the Rhino Republicans. I'm not talking about the good ones. I'm talking about the Rhino Republicans are doing their, I don't like what Trump has to do. So he's like, okay, well, we'll do EO because everybody else seems to do it. So let's just get things done. I'm not going to sit around on my with my thumb, So he signed an executive order to revive portions of the Keystone XL pipeline project. President Trump signed an executive order this week to revive portions of the Keystone XL pipeline that was nixed by the Biden administration. The plan is centered on moving Canadian oil across the border. It'll unleash some more energy for us. Maybe get gas prices to go down. But behind the scenes, the Canadian company Southbow, I don't know, had joined forces with the U.S.-based Bridger Pipeline, aiming to stitch together pieces of the project that had been left unfinished. Southbow was weighing whether to revive stretches of the pipeline already laid across Alberta and Saskatchewan. Meanwhile, Bridger Pipeline is looking to construct a crude oil pipeline near the U.S. Canada border in Montana's Phillips County and running all the way to, I can't pronounce that, but I'm going to try it anyway. Guernsey, Wyoming, according to reports. Staff Security Will Scharf said to Trump in the Oval Office that this is a trans-border pipeline similar to the old Keystone XL pipeline. Trump responded, looking up from the page, a lot of jobs too, a lot of jobs. Okay, very good. So you remember there were like 60,000 jobs before. Well, now that they're reviving the project, we could see a whole lot of jobs to finish that project. And a lot of money flowing to gentlemen, and that, hey, now they can get back to work. They've been waiting to get back to work, and now they're going to have this project to get back to work, provide for their families, and unleash some more energy. And I commend the president for that. It's so fantastic to see a president that actually gets things done. I hear all these people say, "Oh, what Trump is so abrasive." Yes. Oh, Trump is so, forthcoming about how he feels about everything. Uh-huh. Yeah. But sometimes it's rude and crude. Okay. Consider the alternative. Let's just consider the alternative for a minute. Do you want a president? Would you want a president, Kamala Harris? Where do you think we'd be at right now? Do you think I'd even be on the air right now? I don't think so. Actually, I know I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be allowed. I've already been curbed once for many years under the Biden administration. Most of the growth that I know my own channel has gone through has been when Trump got back in office, because I was no longer as fettered as before. And I know that a lot of growth that's happened over here at Internal Affairs has happened because Trump is back in office. But I want you to consider that. I want you to consider the alternative. Tell me what you think would have been such a great alternative. That someone who gets things done, who doesn't back down, who loves this country. He could be like he said many times, he could be living the lavish lifestyle and nothing would change for him really. He could be out there just golfing for the rest of his days, hanging out with his family, his wonderful family. He wouldn't have a care in the world. And you're questioning his motivations for being there? Well, he really likes power. Okay. But he loves his country. And he's doing it for us. So I don't want to hear about it, honestly. Well, I don't agree with there's a lot of things there's been a lot of things over the years that I have not agreed with that the president has done. But you know what? He's still the greatest president of my lifetime. And I'll argue that to anyone who wants to step up. We can have the conversation, but I'm telling you right now, you won't win that conversation. That's why they keep trying to take him out. They keep trying to. They had a third attempt. And I really want to think about it. It's 4 because we had in Pennsylvania was Butler, right? We had the guy with the backpack, then the guy at the golf course, then this guy at the hotel. So technically it's 4 that we know of. I bet you it's even more than that. It's just classified because, Secret Service is, well, that first word, secret, for a reason. So I'm going to say this. Thank you, President Trump, for all you do. Thank you for all you do. I keep getting people trying to call me when they know that I'm here with you guys. But oh shoot. I was looking to raid you guys out. So I'm going to find somebody that's online here. And as I do, I want to remind you what I always tell my folks over at Revolver: to stay in trouble. Why do I tell you to stay in trouble? Well, because if you have Christ in your hearts, you will in fact be in trouble with the world. The world doesn't want you living under his grace. That's your salvation first and foremost, and I pray that each and every one of you has that. The world doesn't want you praying to him, having a relationship with him, reading his word, and it definitely doesn't want you going out and doing something so dangerous as telling others about him. I want to encourage you to do all that anyway. Stay in trouble. Follow Jesus. Love you guys. And if you follow Revolver Broadcasting, catch me over there at 6 p.m. tonight, where I'll be Eastern, where I'll be interviewing Curtis. You may be familiar with him. See you there. Bye for Bye for now.